I want to welcome everybody to CAFTA again, and presenting this week, this month is Join.Table, and we'll start with Makah.
Hi, welcome. So we're going to use this platform for this presentation today, Mentimeter. So if you haven't already, please go to menti.com and enter the code. And next slide. All right, so this presentation today, we're talking a little bit about join table and diverse table, future direction, and we'll give you a preview into some of the apps that we are using at join table. So I think everyone is signed up. If you are signed up, can you heart this page so we know everyone's good? Seeing some good ones. Looks like 4 people so far. And Vanessa, if you don't mind putting the link again into the chat, this looks like somebody just joined.
Yep. And it's easiest too if you want to do that on either your phone or a second monitor, and then you can kind of have the interactive portion up on one side and the presentation on the other.
Awesome. Cool. We'll go on to the next slide. So how many of you have heard of join table before? So if you don't mind answering this question on menti.com, if you're familiar with it or if you've heard of it. When we were prepping for this, Beth had mentioned to us, the first time I learned about join table was at a CAFTA presentation. So I thought that was cool. And it's, I think Jonathan Nicoletti was presenting on join table when we first launched. And now Beth is a very active member of diversitable, which is a branch of join table. Okay, so that's great. I'm glad to hear most of you have heard of us before. I'll give you a little background on what we are. Next slide, thank you. Next question is, where did you hear about join table? So if you can type in just the first time you learned about us, it'd be interesting for us to know. Nice. This meeting right now. Awesome. Cool. Some good answers there. All right. So next slide. All right. So I'll talk a little bit about what is join table. So essentially what we are is a matchmaking service. So we're filing for our official 501c. So that is in the works. We are a nonprofit. We're all volunteers who work on this initiative. And essentially what we are is matchmakers. We take volunteers who sign up on our website and we match them with a cause. And so with a need. And so there's actually 3 different branches. We kind of started off as one branch and we've diversified our portfolio and now we have 3 branches. So I'll talk about each of those branches next. Our initial initiative was to match up nonprofits with volunteers, so to do pro bono work. And so we've kind of rebranded that to be called charitable. And so you can think of it like charity. And I'm gonna just give you a couple examples of our success stories. So we have one of my favorite projects we've ever worked on is Abraham Creel. They're a orphanage in Africa, South Africa. And the father-son duo came to us. Actually, the father these 2 men are amazing. They're my favorite people that we've worked with. And they've run the orphanage. It's a family-run orphanage for many years. And the father listened to the Context podcast and heard about us through that and reached out and because they have an app that he built very, very long time ago in DOS. And it actually, the reason that they realized that they needed to move forward into the next in more modern times is because the app was so old that they couldn't find any printers that would work on the software that the computer needed to run the DOS app. So basically, they couldn't print anymore because they couldn't find any printers that were old enough. And the app actually predates a mouse, so everything is keyboard driven. And so I think those were some red flags. They were like, all right, I think it's time to move up to the modern times. And so we met with Christy and Fred, and after talking with them, we decided to send it to one of our volunteers, which is actually another Soliant employee. So it became like a humanitarian project as well. And they built this app. So if you can go to the next slide, thank you. This is what the app looks like now. It's like colorful and friendly. And essentially what it does is, I think they have like 270 children at the orphanage, and they have a bunch of houses. And so if a child needs something like new clothes, the house mother that would put in a request through the app that, so-and-so needs a new shirt or what have you, or food for the kitchen, or it's just essentially managing all of their things. And they want to be able to make nice reports about like, where did the products go? Where did the donations go? And one thing that they really pride themselves on is if someone donated a specific piece of item, they want to go back to that person who donated those clothes and said, Susie H used it for 2 years, and then she grew out of it, and then it went down to Sarah B, and so on. So they really want to track every single history of any donations, and so that they can come back to their donors and say, this is exactly who used your items and when. So that was really important to them. And so this app helps them do that. So it's really cool and they're really happy they can print, and they're really happy that they can use a mouse. So sometimes it's little things. So the next project I want to talk a little bit about is this gentleman in the top left here in the screenshot. His name is Eric Franciscus. He is from Lemberg, Germany, and he came to us with a request to make an app for children learning, children with Down syndrome, and how to help advance their learning. So his goddaughter, this is pictured right there, has Down syndrome, and she and his wife, Eric's wife, works with children with Down syndrome as her job. And one thing they notice is that children with Down syndrome, they just love technology. Like, they just learn so much faster from technology. So he requested an app for essentially flashcards on an iPad, where it can be a picture of something, the word under it, the mother or father can read the word, and the child can swipe through and learn words and associate words with pictures in an interactive way with an iPad. And so you're probably thinking, what I'm thinking was like, oh my gosh, this would be so perfect in FileMaker Go. It would be so easy to build. The nice thing about it too is that people can add their own things too. They can just very easily take a picture of daddy and then have that as the flashcard and type in daddy under it, and make it very customizable for all of the parents. So so that's an app that is in progress. We were lucky, it's in German, and we were lucky to have a German volunteer in our database. So Joachim Mueller is there at the top left picture, and he has happily taken this on, and it's going well. So that's just another success story project of what we do at Charitable. So we've had, gosh, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 projects so far. So this is just a little sample of what we do. All right, so most of you probably, if you've heard of Join Table from DevCon, know about, or Engage, I mean, the Clara's COVID response team. So this is essentially Clara's joining up with Join Table, and what we're calling is our second branch is Responsa-Table. And so very similar to Charitable, except for it's all COVID related apps. So it's a need. The need is a COVID-related app. It doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It can be a frontline worker. It can be a hospital, a doctor. One of the apps that we built through ResponsiTable is a dentist in France and who needed help triaging emergency care for patients. Essentially, he has an app where he can they basically any request that comes in goes into the app. Then a dentist has to review it, decide is it a true emergency or not, and then assign it to one of the dentists available in France. So we actually didn't have any French volunteers. I shouldn't say we didn't have any volunteers from France, but luckily we had some from Canada who speak French. So we were able to make that match for that. So that is the Claire's COVID response team. If you could go to the next slide, Vanessa. There's a couple of partners that were so helpful during the Claire's COVID response team. Beeswax, Vince and Jay, they basically threw they would take whatever we threw at them. So they worked on multiple apps for us. So it was really awesome. Geist was really helpful with the Dr. Fine texting app. So that was showcased a little bit in Engage, but that was an app so that so basically for elderly patients, if they had symptoms, instead of going in to get checked and potentially exposing themselves or exposing other people, they could text the doctor, and the doctor can kind of interact with them, monitor them over the next couple of days without them having to really leave their house. So we did a session for Engage on demand. So a lot of our highlighted apps are available on there, and there's the link, and Vanessa just put the link in the chat too. So if you want to learn some more about some of those, they are in there. All right, so our third branch.
Makah, somebody had a question. They wanted to know if they sign up to help with Claire's COVID response, will they be sign up for other initiatives also automatically, or do they need to sign up? Yeah,
that's a great question. So our sign up form on our website, it asks you about what are your interests. So you can click COVID, you can click Relay, even if there's very specific nonprofits you want to work with, like I only want to work with children, or I only want to work in education, or I only want to work in, health or something like that. Then there's chat boxes there for that. So it was definitely, our goal is for everyone to enjoy what they're doing. So the more passionate you are about that nonprofit, the more you're going to enjoy yourself during your volunteer time. So we definitely want to match up people with things that are important to them. And so this is our third branch. Any other questions before I move on? Okay, cool.
I'm sorry. No, I think that's all. Thanks for answering that.
Sure. The third branch is a collaboration we're doing with Women Innovating Together. So we're really excited about this one, and it's called diversitable. And the idea is and here's a picture of our team. We meet every week for, I don't know, how long has it been, Vanessa and Beth? Vanessa and Beth are extremely active members of diversitable, along with CJ and CJ Carberry. But I mean, we've been meeting since, I don't know, March, April, May, I forget, a long time. So we're really excited to hopefully launch really soon. Our goal is to be make a very public announcement in the next month or so. So the idea is increase diversity in tech is our goal in diversitable. So how do we do that? What are we offering? So essentially, it's a very, very structured mentorship program. And we have a lot of resources kind of outlined and organized for our participants, resume review and assistance. And we help build your resume, and Beth's going to demo that for you. And we have help with interviewing, prepping for interviewing, like things to say or points to make, or mock interviews, those type of things. However, we can help with the preparation. Networking, introducing you to people. If you are, one of our goals is to have essentially like a job board where we can do like people who are interested in posting internships or jobs, and then we can help our tablers apply to them. So just networking and getting to know, meet other people in the community. And we're also offering 1 year free membership to our tablers, which is our participants. 1 year free membership to those who qualify for Women Innovating Together. And go to the next slide, please. Thank you. We're really targeting for beginners, switchers, and growers. So one of the partnerships we have is with Boys and Girls Club. And so our idea is that there may be people who are, ready to graduate high school and cannot afford to go to college. So this could be a great opportunity for beginners, people who are starting out their career. They're ready to start their career and they want some mentorship, some guidance, some resume help and stuff like that. Switchers, there are people who are displaced because of COVID or whatever reasons, or they don't feel safe in their job anymore, and they might want to look for something that you can work from the comfort of your home. So technology is a great opportunity for something like that. So people who are just looking to, if they're already in a career and they want to switch into tech, specifically the Claris platform. And the last group here is growers. So people who are already in tech and they're just looking to get to the next level. They're looking to advance their career. So we definitely want to help with that as well. All right, so you might be wondering, like, what does it mean? What does it look like? Like, how will it work? How does this process work? So if you imagine we have someone who signed up to be a tabler. So a tabler is what we're calling our participants through diversitable. So they're a tabler. So you have Rose. She signed up. She's like, I need to get out of acting, and I want to go into tech. So she's like, I don't feel safe working on a set anymore. So she wants to go into tech. She signs up. And so what we'll do is, based off her application, and there's a bunch of, like we talked about, checkboxes and things like that, what she's interested in, what her goals are. We'll try to find somebody that can help her with those goals. And so that is going to be an ambassador, what we're calling an ambassador. And that's essentially a volunteer. So it's a volunteer mentor. So we'll find somebody that has that's a pretty close fit. I think it's going to be impossible to find a perfect fit, but things like similar time zones and same language and similar interest, and we don't expect our ambassadors to know everything. So we're definitely providing resources and help for our ambassadors too. And then the last person that we're adding to this is our advisor. So this is going to be somebody from the Join Table team that is going to help kind of set everything up for success. And really our goal with this structure is that we want this to be the least amount of work possible for our ambassadors. We want to essentially help them lay the plan out and lay the steps, and then it's just really almost like a checkbox type thing for our ambassadors and for our tablers. So how we do that is we set up a meeting, and the three of these three people will meet, and together we'll create what we're calling a roadmap. And that is going to be very structured and step-by-step guide. So that is actually what I'm going to demo, is that the roadmap app. And but before I do that, I think there's a couple things I want to cover. So before I leave the slides and start sharing my screen for the demo, I want to talk a little bit about like how people can participate, anyone who might be interested right now. So you can obviously sign up to be a mentor, so to be an ambassador. So you can sign up at diversitable.org or just go to jointable.org. And I think Vanessa is going to put the links in the chat for that too. You can also, what's the next one? That's sorry. Oh, okay. We are looking for help behind the scenes too. So Vanessa and Beth and CJ and myself, we're basically doing this on our own with a couple of help from other people here and there, but we would love any help that anybody wants to help give behind the scenes. So we're going to demo some of our apps, and what we really would love is somebody help managing our apps and helping polish and QA and make sure that it's ready for going live. And any website help we can get to, like content writing and making sure that we stay relevant with our marketing and things like that, is something that we would love to get help for. And an advisor is another role that we would love help on too. So maybe you don't feel like you have the time to commit to help being a full-on mentor, meeting regularly with one person, but you think you might be great at helping create this roadmap, which I'm going to demo the app in a little bit. That might be a great role for you, and it's a lot less time commitment because it's maybe an hour or two every so often. Whereas if you are a mentor, if you're an ambassador, then we would expect you to meet regularly with your tabler. So that might be a good option for you. So if you're interested in any of those, send us an email, jointableteam@gmail.com. Spreading the word, letting people know that this program exists, following us on social media, and also just sharing our content is a great way to help us. And anyone that you think that might benefit from this program, let them know that it exists. Like, you might know somebody who is looking to do a career switch or advance their career. So let them know that we exist and see if we can help. All right, I think that takes us to the demo. Yes. Okay, so were there any questions or anything while I do this little transition?
I'm sorry. No, I don't see any other questions.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh,
Yep.
Sully has a question.
So I recently received a request for some help with a website for a group that helps convicted felons find employment, which kind of goes in many of the groups that you just talked about, because you're looking at people who are switching careers and who are also looking to get website help. So where should I start with that group?
I would have them fill out a form on our website as a nonprofit, and then we could go from there. But yeah, I agree with this. That would totally help. And I think also letting them know that our program exists, and that that any of their convicted felons are, if they're interested and want to be a tabler, they can totally sign up to be a tabler as well. But yeah, if for the website help itself, we can definitely help with that through charitable. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, any other questions before I jump in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I miss Sully's. There's a lot in the chat.
Okay, cool. All right, so the one I'm gonna demo is, what am I demoing? No. Portal, yes, that's the one. Okay. And I'm actually gonna re-log in as admin. Whoops. My little shortcut here, and I'm going to create a new record so we can start fresh. Okay, so if you imagine an ambassador and a tabler and a advisor meeting, and they are going to set up a roadmap. So they're going to think, okay, so let's talk a little bit about where you want to go. And let's say where they want to go is an internship, but they have no experience right now. So they need to do some training first. So we'll do some technical guidance training, and I'll just do, these are all like pretty broad categories, but for now we'll just add some intro training. And so now that becomes a pit stop, and I might add some very, very specific tasks to this pit stop so that I know when is this pit stop complete. So I'm going to say, let's do the Claris Academy videos, like one through 5 or 4, sure. So that might be that one. And then maybe once that's done, I can change the status to complete. And then I can maybe do, let's see. So maybe I want some server training. I want to make sure that I talk about mobile apps because that's interesting for my tabler. And that's one thing maybe they have a little experience in WordPress and they want to get some more experience in WordPress. And maybe a really nice goal after that would be to get certified. And so maybe we decide this is what's best for my tabler, and I'll add some like very specific tasks in here on how we determine each pit stop is complete. Okay, and so once I'm done with training, I'm going to look at some of these other options here. And let's say my tabler is a woman, so I want them to join Women Innovating Together. So I'll add that as a pit stop. And yeah, so they are looking for employment or internship. So I'm going to add into here, building my resume, apply for internships, and prepare for job interviews. So those are specific things I want to tackle. And let's see, maybe these don't fit. Maybe public speaking too. Maybe I'll throw that in there too. So I've kind of created this very specific roadmap, and I want to maybe change the order. So let's say Women Innovating Together. Let's say I decide, well, that's something that I should do ASAP. No, that's something that's going to help you right from the get-go. So I'll put that as number 1. Everything kind of defaults to 15 since there's only 15 max spots. But if I come over here, there you go. So now it's number 1, and that's very, very straightforward. It's basically send an email to them. And then we can, once we complete an item, we'll say, okay, that one's done. So the nice thing about this is it gives a lot of structure and it makes it very straightforward. Our hope is that it's for our ambassadors, our mentors. It kind of takes a lot of the pressure off. Like it's like a very specific guide. And, you know, this can definitely be customized for the ambassador too, because let's say our mentor has programming or has some resources that they think would be great for this, so they can enter those in and say, okay, I know I took this class, you should totally take this class, and I can help you with all that training in there. A couple of things to note here is that it's very the way it's created, it's very one directional. So you might in reality actually start a couple things at the same time. So maybe I start server training, so maybe this is like in progress, and the same with like mobile apps. It might actually happen more like a tree than it is one line, but the way that this app is just created is it just works with one line. But there's nothing stopping you from saying like this one's complete, and you know, you can shift things around or even leave it like that. So the other thing that is interesting about this app is that you can create your own pit stop. So if you see something that is not on this list, you can just hit new, give it a name, a category, and then you can select from this this image list that I created. So you can kind of build your own custom pit stop as well. I want to, okay. So that's pretty much it for this. And that's kind of the idea. The idea is pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any guesses how I made this? Like, I like hearing people's ideas.
Do you mean a specific part of it or just the whole thing?
Just the map part.
Is it a web viewer?
It's not a web viewer. Actually, so that my first thought was do craft with web viewer, but I ended up making this over Christmas break, and I was like, ugh, I don't know if I can get support for help over Christmas break to build it in craft. So that was my first thought. But I've had people guess like, oh, it's just a bunch of hide objects, and actually that's not true. I think there's only one hide objects, which is the circle. I wish you could do custom formatting or conditional formatting on outlines, but you can't. So I had to make that a hide object with the active circle. But what it is, I'll tell you the secret. This is all a bunch of portals. So this is a portal. And if I click on this, I'm showing row 15. So this is portal with one row showing starting at 15. This is a portal with one row showing at 14. This is a portal with one row showing at 13. So it's nice because all the data is still very, organized nicely, and it's in its own table and everything. But yeah, that's how I built it. And then I have conditional formatting for the color changes, and also for the little road parts. Any questions on that?
I haven't seen any other questions.
All right, cool. Well, that's all I really have for this. So I think we can hand it off to Beth to demo her part, her app.
All right. Hi, everybody. So the goal for my piece was a resume builder app. We wanted to create an easy way to build a quality resume, both in terms of the content that's going into the resume, as well as the output format. And we wanted to make it as easy for especially those beginners as possible, or switchers as well. So I'm going to share, maybe. Oh, different screen. All right. User will log in. Come on. And land on this landing page. So this actually goes through, welcomes them, gives them an overview of what's going on in the app, what the different steps are that they're going to walk through. They can then choose to skip this screen in the future and go straight to their dashboard, or they can, just leave it as no, and they'll always land right here on this page. It's designed, I should say, to work with any system. So they will be able to log in through WebDirect. So I don't know if you noticed on the landing page there a second ago, it does have a link for Adobe, because they will need to have Adobe, so that it'll take them straight to Adobe's page to log in there. Let's see, let's get started. Then we go to the dashboard. I'll build an application with you guys in the demo, but I did not want to build my bank of information because that would take too long. But here on the dashboard, there is a side panel that will take those steps from that landing page and walk you through. The checkboxes will actually check off as you complete the task, so it's not something you've got to check. Or if you don't need that panel, you can hide it and get it out of your way. We go through each of the pieces. You've got your basics, your email address, all of this stuff. I don't know how much everybody else has applied to jobs recently, because I'm searching right now. But I have a resume bank where every time I apply to a job, I'm looking at the job description and I'm kind of tweaking the bullets to kind of match some of the verbiage that's in a job description. So this will create that bank. You won't have to rewrite every time. You'll be able to build everything up, but you don't have to use everything at the same time. But here at the top, you've got your basics, you've got references, your education, your experience, accomplishments, skills, and then optional, if there's some other category that fits to you, you can put that in. You can see my sample here has professional associations and languages, which I don't actually have. A lot of this information is real, but not all of it is real. Things like, let's see, Masters in My Imagination. There you go. Yeah, that would be the not real degree. But just trying to show what it looks like with additional information. If you want to edit this information, you can come in at any time. And this is your master core. You can say, all right, my address has changed. I'm going to change that. I want to use a different email. For the first section in a resume, the users have the opportunity to choose what they want their baseline to be. Objective, you want it to be called your profile, you want it to be called your summary, or you have some other term you want to type in there, you can do that as well. Everybody's a little different with how they like to do that header. And then you can type in, that's one section that doesn't tend to change among resumes, but you will have the opportunity to change it on different applications if you want. Put in your signature, which will populate when you sign your cover letter. So this, I should say, this will generate your resume, your cover letter, and your reference sheet. Down at the bottom, we've got the list of all of the applications that you've created in the system, and it puts your most recent on top. So you can see I applied for a FileMaker developer position at Jointable, and my contact is Makah. And you'll get to see these application styles here in a few minutes, what blue clean modern means, red clean modern, purple clean modern. Obviously, I like that one. Traditional. All the way through the app, you'll see these light bulbs. Those are your pro tips. This is where we're helping them build a quality resume. Your profile, objective, summary, what is it, how you should treat it, suggestions for what to put into this content. Additional tips for do talk about these things, don't talk about these things here. So these pro tips were a combination of recommendations from Aaron Williams and Makah. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's in HR Salesforce. Is that his role?
Sorry, who did you say?
Darren Williams. What's his role? Is he HR with Salesforce?
Oh, he's not HR. He's like executive. No,
sorry.
I think he does sales, but yes, he's with Salesforce.
Okay. So he's been part of the diversitable team as well, and he had put together a bunch of notes for helping the tablers build their resume and everything. So I incorporated his notes along with, I've done a lot of recruiting, hiring, and training over the years. So I incorporated some of my own notes and thoughts on that into all of these light bulbs. You see references, pro tips for this. Okay, and sorry, I'm still jumping around. But under my applications, if it is in gray here, your resume, cover letter, and references, you haven't generated it yet. So you'll be easy able to see what you've generated and what you're still in the process of working on. You can delete your application or go view it. So let's take a look at one here real quick. This one I have is finished. This is where you're going to build that single application for a job. So I'm applying to Beth Solutions. The position is a junior FileMaker developer. This is my husband, is the contact there with his email. The leading section, do you want to lead with your education or lead with your experience? This is one of those things, depending on where you are in your career, that will change. So if you're early career, you tend to lead with your education because it's a big deal that you have a degree in this field. As you get later, you kind of put the education down at the bottom. Yeah, I have a degree, that was like 25 years ago. So you could choose which way to lead in that. And this eventually will, this, by the way, app is still in development, will show you samples of what the clean modern looks like and the traditional looks like so that you can kind of judge. You'll see those in a minute. But for this one, we were going with traditional. This is where you get to choose what goes into this application. So you're going to open one of these, and this is pulling up what I had listed originally with my, that I was calling it an objective, and this is what the text that I wanted. You can save that, or you can say, no, I want to redo that and change the verbiage in here. Education, I'm going to say, no, I don't actually want this one. I want to include this Masters in My Imagination in here as well. Save it. So you're making your selections for each one, what you want included, what you don't want included. You can see this is what was selected for each of the work experience on this one. Skills. Oh, there aren't any skills listed on this one. Or no, it's still thinking. There we go. It shows the order that you've selected. I've got numerous skills in here, and I'm putting in my ability level. So I'm saying I'm probably about a 6 out of 10 on this, a 9 out of 10 here. You're kind of rating your ability. You don't have to include that on a resume, the ability level, but that is an option that you can throw in there. Their accomplishments, and optional, I've selected to include languages and professional associations. So we come into our resume. Let's see.
Hey Beth, can you go back and just show the check boxes for all those? Like, because I think that's the interesting part, that it is like it pulls from the bank.
We'll build one in a second.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
okay.
This is just kind of showing the overall one that's already really been done.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Slide that on screen. Then it previews what you've got in this traditional format. It's put everything over here. Put your education, your skills, accomplishments, languages, professional associations. It's kind of built that resume there for you. You say, yep, that looks great. Let's create it. It puts it in this container. It will also create a folder on your desktop with that company name, and it will put that resume in that folder in your desktop. And it does give you a warning here to let you know. At least I thought it was there. There it is. Once generated, the resume will be saved as a PDF on your desktop. It will appear in the container to the right. You can click the magnifying glass. One of these does make a point to say if you're using a shared device, make sure you secure your information, because that's got all of your personal stuff right there if you're using a shared device. You'll be able to do the same with your cover letter, references. Portfolio is an optional thing. It doesn't get built through this system. It is if you've got pictures of things that you've put together, or anything like that that you want to include. Maybe a job application requires that you include samples of your work or something. This gives you the opportunity to include that in here so that you've got it saved with the rest of your information when you apply. And then the final, this is an optional step. If you want them all merged into a single PDF, you can say, yep, put them all together into one PDF. So when I apply to the job, there's one document attached. And this actually, the side panel here, will tell you the order that they'll be attached in if you've got all of those documents. So let's go back to our dashboard and let's create an application. So it starts blank. Let's see. I'm going to apply to diversitable. Be great if I could spell it. I think that's right. Okay. Junior FileMaker developer. You can see my lovely typing skills. This is not real. Don't email Makah at this address. We're going to lead with my experience. I'm going to choose clean modern, and let's go with purple. My resume title is FileMaker. All right, and this is going to show me my original. It's a summary. I want to call it my profile in this case. It started doing that. I don't know why it thinks it's being modified somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it still did what I asked it to. No.
I think it's because you're still in the FileMaker field on the back on.
Yeah, you might need to throw.
Got the record locked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
click
you.
outside the field.
Thank you. Yep. So I'll have to have some sort of note there for users so that they know that.
Well, if you
clearly I didn't.
Or put a commit
Yeah,
step in,
throw a commit
and
in.
that'll
That'll
take care of it.
All right, and we've got our education. This is what I have in my bank. Do I want to include it or not? No, the master's in my imagination. I'm not actually going to include on a resume, but I do want to include this one. I will save that. My experience. Let's see. Yeah, I want to include this. Let's look at the bullets that I have selected for this. I can go through and I can put the bullets in a specific order. Let's say I want to do this order. I don't want to include that testing of worth bullet. This is what I want. Now you can't edit in here. You can only edit through your dashboard in those card windows there. And it tells you here, you cannot edit. If you need to do that, go back to your dashboard. Then we'll select this one. Yep, that's what I would want. That's perfect. Actually, let's say yes to this and put a 4 there. Done. And this one, let's call that 3. I have no idea. I'm just throwing stuff in here. This is the flexibility that you've got. You can say, yeah, I want to use these. Or you look at it and you say, no, I need something specific that talks about this. And you can go back to your dashboard and add in that specific bullet so that you can use it for this job. But you can have 50 bullets in here for each job and only ever use 2 or 3 on a resume. It allows that type of flexibility. Perfect. All right, we'll just say the rest of that. I've made my selections. Save. And that started doing that too. I think that's my loop I gotta fix. See, like I said, still under development. Skills, these are all the skills I've thrown in there, and you can see the ability level I've given myself on those. Let's say, no, I don't want that one, and let's move that one up to 1. Save. My accomplishments, yep, I want to include that. Optional, no, let's get rid of, yeah, let's not use those languages, and yeah, let's just do the professional association. And I have built my resume. All I need to do now is come over, I don't know why that goes off screen, and take a quick peek. This is the clean modern format that includes my photo if I want. It includes the little bar graph on my skills. You do not have to include that. You can opt out for that. And this is one of the things where I'm happy to ask for help. I don't know why in the browse mode, that icon's where it's supposed to be. And as soon as you go to preview, that icon moves. It was making me crazy. Every setting looks the same as the other ones, and that's the only one it moved with. Yeah, the one's supposed to be up here with accomplishments. But your cover letter, you come in and add some text, which I should have had prepped. Just throw any random text in there. Bullets are not going to look good. So this is, it doesn't like you putting bullets in here. So this is not going to look good when we're done. But I'm just trying to throw text in and preview that cover letter. Now, some jobs you will have the person's name and email and contact information, and sometimes you won't. The system will account for that. If you left the contact person's name blank, it will address it to whom it, I forget if it's to whom it may concern or if it's HR or something like that. I can take it out and see what it does. Let's see, let's pretend we don't know who the person is. I need to change that position. Hiring manager, there you go. So it addresses it to the hiring manager instead. And it throws in the signature. That's, I don't think it actually is on there twice. I think it's my screen glitching. Yeah, I think my screen's glitching. You've got your cover letter there, and then the last piece, your references. You'll select which ones you want to have included. And preview. And you've got your reference sheet. Let me go ahead and make sure I've created all of those. Oh, because I already, oh no, it doesn't like the colon and diversitable. I knew that. Because I'm using the company name.
Yeah.
Oh, cancel. I shouldn't have done that.
Does that mean you have to rebuild all the PDFs? Or just the first one?
No, it's just a recreate with the different, it's trying to use diversitable with the 2 colons in the file name.
Right.
And of course the computer won't let you do that. So.
Right.
URL encode.
What was that, Sally?
You might be able to URL encode the file name and then use
Okay.
that. It'll give you some funky characters, but at least it'll let you save.
Okay. Cover letter, create. References, create. Portfolio, I don't have. Final, let's go ahead and combine those PDFs and see what it looks like. I don't know what that means. All these things that were working before and not now. Darn it. All right, well then I don't get to show that. See, something broke. Not a successful demo unless something breaks in the process, right? All right, you can duplicate your app.
I bet it's a file name thing. I bet it's a file name thing again.
File name thing.
Do you have one that you already created that you can just show that's combined, or?
I think so, but I took some stuff out that I had junked before. So maybe not.
Well, I'm sure everyone can imagine everything
Yeah.
is PDF.
Oh, there's one. And this has, come on. Let me do the full page. There we go. So it puts in the cover letter followed by your resume and your reference sheet all into one PDF so that you can send just the one document. All right. So the options, I'm going to show a couple of the things that we can do. Back to that one. I edit the preview mode so you can see. Another one of my little things that's not working. When I go into preview mode, the color ring around the photo disappears, but it's there in browse mode. That one was making me crazy.
Oh, that's weird.
This one, get into the right file here. And if I choose to change, this is what your accent colors do. So you've got your blue, gold, and I'm just changing the one field on my style accent color to show the gray, purple, and red are options for accent colors. And there's no accent colors available on the traditional format. We also have the ability to remove this graph if they don't want to show a graph with their skills and put their ability levels. They just want to list the skills. We can do that as well. There's an option to turn that off.
And if you don't want your picture, do you just not upload a picture, or?
Yes, so right now it's if you don't put a picture in there, it won't show the picture, but I do want to change that where it's part of those basics and you can say include photo or not, so that it'll be a yes, no. Yep, absolutely. Trying to think. So let me switch education, and you can see if we switch and put education first, it doesn't slide up unless you're in preview. And then apparently it still doesn't slide up. Like I said, still have some issues here. Still working on these.
Sliding is just tough.
Yes.
Sliding is just
Amazing.
tough. That's all. Don't beat yourself up over that.
Yeah, I have ones that it's sliding in one version and not in the other. I'm like, I have the settings all the same. Why is it doing it in one and not the other? It's making me, and there's some I fixed and some I've tried a million things and still can't get it.
Check for empty space, which sometimes gets in the way. You don't realize it's there, but sometimes there's empty space. And the other thing is look for stuff that's grouped. I don't know if you've been grouping things together, but if the
I did, I stopped the grouping.
Yeah, it makes it that much harder.
Yeah, I stopped grouping some things. Although the funny thing is that star and the word accomplishments are grouped together, and that doesn't seem to really care that they're grouped and they shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I definitely, I don't know how many of you know me, and if some of you do, I'm relatively new to FileMaker. So I've been a developer now for less than 2 years. So I'm still learning all of this. I don't come from an IT background. So I definitely could use some help with some of these tricky things. And Vanessa is going to stick my email in the chat. Please reach out to me if you have some thoughts and ideas, and especially the issues that you can obviously see that I know are there. But even if you've got suggestions and things from stuff that you noticed as we go through, I am certainly open to suggestions and tips and everything. So, and I definitely, sorry, go ahead, Phil.
I have one suggestion, and I'm just kind of bragging because I just figured this out last month after I don't know how many years, but when you do the save as, you're using save as PDF script step, is that right?
Yeah.
Buried in there, like on the third tab, well into there, it lets you say how the PDF is going to be opened, whether you want to open it with that bar on the left, the thumbnail bar, or if you want to open it like 100% or 1 page or 2 pages.
I can say that?
You can.
That makes me crazy.
I know, I've been telling people I couldn't do that, and then I just found it last month.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to make
use that. But in the script step.
It's in the script step, and go into the options, and then like the third tab of the options.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Can you show that? I think.
Show
just find a save as PDF script step.
You expect me to know the names of my scripts?
No, just
PDF. That's the PDF viewer.
Well, okay, if you don't.
Sorry, I don't remember.
Okay, all right, well, that's fine.
Should be able to create.
I like the suggestion people have in the chat too about.
There, yeah, that one. So yeah, click on that, and then specify options. And now, option. No, let's see. Yeah, initial view, the third tab there. Show pages and panels. So page only.
Page only. Single page. That's what I want.
And magnification. No, magnification. You can do fit. Go up, scroll up to the top. I think there's fit to screen. Fit to page. So it shows you, you see the whole page and not a cutoff thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That is very cool.
Well, they couldn't have buried that any deeper.
No. Woo.
There's good suggestions in the chat too about always filtering out PDF names so that it's alphanumeric.
Okay, perfect.
I think that's a good idea.
I'll take a look over there. Any questions, concerns?
I have one other question.
Mm-hmm.
So the data this is in a database and app that lives in Soliant.cloud. Who has access to this data? Can other people see what you're putting in your resume?
So,
you're making resumes?
The expectation is that the tablers will only be able to see their own information. The ambassadors will only be able to see the tablers that belong to them. So if you happen to have 2 mentees, you'd be able to see both of theirs. The advisors could potentially have access to just about everything because they would be advising multiple ambassadors and tablers. But I do have a tabler list view that is set up for that so that anyone that's managing people can see what's going on. The tabler, where they're located, the last time their stuff was modified, what they've got in their bank, how many education items, work experience, skills, etc., and how many applications they've created in the system. So I do have that for them. But it is not, everyone has access to everything. It's tablers would be their own, ambassadors would only be tablers that belong to them.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't see any. Anybody else have a question? You can speak up now. Otherwise, we can move on to Vanessa.
All right.
Great job, Beth.
Thanks, Beth.
Beth, you have a comment in Mentimeter that says, "This is very cool, Beth."
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
We can see it.
Okay, so we're going to go back to Mentimeter for some participation in this one as well. It is a new link, so for those of you that are just joining us, you can go to menti.com on your phone or on a different monitor and enter the code 5076482. And when you get in there, just press the little heart button to let us know you're there, and we will get going. Okay. So Women Innovating Together, who are we? First, we want to know, what has your involvement with WIT-FM been? Have you attended any of our events? Have you been a donor or sponsor in the past? Have you participated in mentorship, scholarship? Are you a member, volunteer, or have you not gotten involved yet, but you would like to? Let us know where you stand. Awesome. We loved visiting with all of you at the DevCon, hopefully now soon to be Engage booth. We look forward to doing that again, hopefully in the near future. Awesome. So it looks like there is some familiarity with WIT-FM. But I will just give a really quick overview. So WIT-FM really started back in 1999. There were 4 women that met at DevCon for breakfast and kind of got together, and that's where we started. In 2006, that expanded, and FileMaker supported the first official, what was then Women of FileMaker luncheon. And that luncheon has grown over the years, and in 2016, Molly Connolly and Chris Ippolite decided that they wanted to work on funding a scholarship to send a woman to DevCon for the first time. And that is where the scholarship program got its launch. I know many of you know Dave Johnson, and we do have a memorial scholarship that Wizard Software Solutions has endowed in his memory for a woman going to Engage or DevCon for the first time. So the scholarship program has also grown and expanded over the years. And in 2019, we officially filed for and received 501c3 nonprofit status. And that is when we became Women Innovating Together, or WIT-FM, instead of Women of FileMaker. The picture on the left are some of our leads when we won the FileMaker Excellence Award for community outstanding contributions back in 2018. So what is WIT-FM today? We have kind of 4 main areas that we focus on. The first is connection. So trying to provide opportunities for networking and to share information and to help people just feel more connected within the greater Claris community. The second is our scholarship program, and that has expanded significantly. I believe we have now awarded scholarships to people in 8 different countries to come to Engage in person, and we look forward to being able to do that again. This last year, we had 4 women that received scholarships that will be to attend the next in-person Engage. Another thing we focus on is advocacy. We're looking to help women expand and grow their careers in the Claris community and support them in doing that. And one of the things that we do that, how we do that is through mentoring. So Makah talked a little bit about the partnership with diversitable and jointable, and WIT-FM is incredibly excited to be joining on this effort. So the WIT-FM mentoring program is now going to be fully merged in with diversitable. So we are very excited to see where that goes and to be able to expand our reach there. So one of the things we wanted to quick talk to you about today is a scholarship that we are starting in memory of Shin. So many of you probably know Shin from various conferences and her just incredible contributions within the Claris community. And we are fervently working on getting this up and running to celebrate Shin's influence on the community through a memorial scholarship fund. And we want to continue the work that she started and help others in the community. So we will be planning to launch the fundraising for this scholarship in late February or early March. So please join the WIT-FM mailing list, and I will throw that link in the chat, or follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. We will notify of any updates as soon as they become available, and so that we can make sure that that is fully funded. So the next thing I wanted to quick touch on with WIT-FM is International Women's Day. You may know or you may not know that March 8th is International Women's Day. And for our members, we are calling for submissions to highlight our membership as well as the women that have inspired them throughout their life and in their career. But if you are not a member, you can still get involved. We are hosting 2 different kind of celebrations for International Women's Day. Due to time zones, we are spreading those out over 2 days in the US. So the first one will be Sunday, March 7th, and that is at 6 p.m. Central Time. And the second one is Monday, March 8th, and that is at 9 a.m. Central Time. And those are open to everyone, as are all of our virtual meetups. And we would love to see you there. Registration is just launching this morning, actually. So I will post those links in the chat as well. And lastly, if you want to get involved with Jointable, diversitable, WIT-FM, you can throw your email into the little answer box in Mentimeter, and we will make sure to reach out to you and get you connected to the appropriate person or people. And that is all that I have. That was our quick WIT-FM overview. We wanted to make sure we left enough time for discussion, any other Q&A that there might be.
I don't see any questions. Does anybody have any questions for Vanessa or Makah and Beth? It doesn't look like it. Well, I want to thank all 3 of you for doing this meeting and doing your presentations. They were really good. And we have more time if anybody wants to stay with the meeting and ask any questions about anything else in FileMaker or about this topic. Please feel free.
Well, I have one discussion point for the group. One of the things that I'd just be interested to hear ideas. One of the things that we're kind of struggling with diversitable is how to track progress or track success. And so we were thinking like, well, it'd be awesome if there was some sort of way to get a baseline of like what does diversity in the Claris community look like right now, and so that we can measure against that in 5 years or 10 years or however many years to see like is our efforts making any impact at all. So anyways, I just thought that's kind of, I know we've brought it up to Claris and they're like, let me think about that. But I'd be interested to hear if anybody has any ideas about like how do you measure something like that?
That's a great question.
Makah, can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sherry.
Sure.
Great presentation, you guys. Thank you so much. I can only tell you that for DEF CON or Engage, the way we measure diversity is, like I can say, when I started this 23 years ago, there was probably maybe 10% women that came to the conference. Mm-hmm. Now, like 30, 35%. So
right.
that's the only way I can, gauge the women actually. But yeah, we always keep track on, who the speakers were and, like that. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. I mean, diversity is a big thing now, right? So other than that, I don't know how to measure it yet either, but I just wanted to say that, diversity is more than just, men and women, right? It's economic status, it's education, it's, geographical. There's so many things that make up diversity that people don't even think about. So, mm-hmm. And I just wanted to say in this meeting, we really wanted diverse speakers this year for Engage. So, mm-hmm. Anyone who might be interested, get the word out there. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm on my
soapbox. Thanks, Sherry.
Yeah, thanks, Sherry. That is something that I've been thinking about too. Like if it's a lot easier for us to track diversity in Engage presenters because it's like such a subset. It's like a limited group of people. And, for the most part, we can determine their diversity background, obviously not their economical background, but usually their gender and racial background, just by looking at them. So, so that's kind of like a potential low-hanging fruit. I guess the question is that an accurate portrayal of the entire community, right? So that's kind of where we're struggling. And one of the things we talked about was like, do we just do a survey to the community? But then if we do that and ask them to tell us their background, obviously not everyone is going to respond to that survey. So it's always just going to be a subset. The other idea was like, do we ask people about their perception of diversity? Because, maybe it's, how we feel about diversity in the Claris community right now versus how we feel about it in 10 years. And if there's a big improvement in that, then that's a good indicator that there has been some improvement. So I don't know what the answer is. And it's just something we're kind of still working out.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You run into the same problem there that you have polling, like doing political polling or any other type of polling. And what if you ask people at DevCon, what does diversity look like, or just among speakers, or if you put the information out there on Claris community, or if you ask your groups like this, or you just ask the people at Claris to reveal their their contact data for everybody that's bought everything in the last 25 years, you'll get 15 different answers.
Right.
So you may have to start off by narrowing what subset are you actually looking for. Are you looking at just developers? Are you looking at users? Or are you looking for a broader answer about who uses the platform, who buys the platform, who is the platform actually being developed by? So you're going to end up with 3 different answers,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I had a better answer for you than that, but
right.
You may be able to take the just from the DevCon perspective, you may be able to take their information, like if you put a survey out at DevCon and collect the information live yourselves there, then you may be able to cross-reference that with previous DevCon attendance. So, because I'm sure they kept the records of who attended which DevCon, and all that stuff is, goes all the way back through all the ticketing. So that's a thought.
Makah, I think there was also a question in the chat. If I signed up for the COVID response, should I sign up again for diversitable?
Oh, that's a great question. So one of the things on my to-do list is to email all of our existing volunteers and give them, I've created a portal for them to sign up and update their own profile. And I still need to polish that and make sure it works. And then I'm going to send out an email and so people can sign up or can log into their own profile and update it. So the answer is no, you don't need to sign up again to be part of diversitable. So hopefully I'll get that out in the next couple weeks.
Awesome. And thanks, Sully, for your thoughts.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like there is no right answer and maybe we don't measure it. I don't know. Because well, I don't know if anything will be good enough.
I mean, what outcome are you trying to define? Like, if you're looking to try to figure out, are there enough people of one group or another group that are involved in development or involved in Claris entirely? You know, it's a different type of a survey that you'd be sending out in the first place. Even the question of just going to DevCon and handing out surveys could create kind of an issue as like, okay, well, this only is going to measure the people who have the resources to get to DevCon in the first place. So yeah, you're skewing your results that way. So
yep, and it's only the people who took the time to answer the survey. It's only the people, I mean, it's always going to be such a subset.
Right.
And so, yeah, I guess the question, yeah, I like your question, like what's our end goal of measuring this? And, you know, when we become an official 501c, I can see us wanting to provide some stats to show our effectiveness. And maybe it's not a before and after type thing. Maybe it's a numbers type thing, as like far as, okay, we've helped, you know, 20 people get into the Claris community. So maybe it's just like the raw numbers of the people we've helped and not really a perception of change or anything like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you want to be able to measure your success.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so maybe our success is just the plus ones, all the plus ones that we get, right? And not really the before and after.
Right. Well, I mean, for that, I'd just worry about backing up your solution every day. You know, like you take a backup from a year ago and compare the number of records that you had then and where those records were, right? So it's just another FM diff kind of a thing. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer for you.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Mm-hmm. Anything else? I think that's it.
Oh, I will plug, I know if you are on the WIT FM page, I believe Bev and Laura and some others have done a great job of putting together a calendar of different virtual meetups in the Claris world, as well as WIT FM meetups and events. So if you are looking for an easy way to go find those, they're all in a calendar right on the webpage, as well as a Google Calendar. And we would love to see you at the next WIT FM virtual meetup.
Do you know witfm.com is for sale?
I did hear that, actually.
I tried that first to find.
We are witfm.org.
.org. Calendar. Okay. Oh, nice. Very good.
Awesome. And I believe Phil had mentioned as well that we will give him all of the links if anyone is looking for some of the information that we mentioned today. We'll pass that along and he can post that on the meetup.
Right. Along with the recording of this, I'll post any of the links that Vanessa gives me and take things out of the chat, that kind of thing. So
to chat, I just posted the calendar link.
Awesome. Thanks, Bev.
You guys are busy. Very busy. Well, thank you once again. I really appreciate the time you spent putting this together and showing it to us. And it was really great information. Again, we'll meet in March 5th, 4 weeks from today. Friday, March 5th will be our next meeting, and it'll be on add-ons. And thank you to Vanessa and Beth and Makah for today's presentation.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Phil.
Bye.
Bye-bye.